And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Hello again, everyone, and thanks for joining us for another edition of Alaska Weather for this Monday. Up first, hazardous weather graphics showing coastal flood advisories out here in the pumpkin-colored area there along the central western Arctic coast, northwest coast down in toward Kotzebue Sound. And that's out for tonight. Again, otherwise things have really quieted down statewide from what they were yesterday. Satellite imagery here showing big blob of moisture here coming northward with a low pressure area, bringing rain across south central Alaska up into the central and eastern interior. Heavier rainfall amounts pushing in toward Yakutat. They picked up 1.5 inches during the day today, while Cordova, Anchorage, and Talkeetna all had 1/2 inch of precipitation. Again, that 12-hour period ending at 3 p.m. this afternoon. Back to the west, some breaks, kind of a dry day down the inlet there with some sun breaks over Kodiak Island. Bristol Bay, weak system here over the Bering Sea, nothing much going on here. Some clouds and snow, light snow up here from the northwest coast there along the Arctic coast and North Slope areas. And the next system developing out here, you can see the clouds there pushing in toward Shimia and mid and high level clouds toward Adak, putting that into motion again. You can see that coming eastward. That's the next system there. It's going to deepen quite rapidly, move to the central Aleutians later tonight. Otherwise, again, rain, more moisture here pushing into the Yakutat area. Again, Yakutat having about 1.5 inches today. By contrast, though, Juneau picking up about 0.03 of an inch. And on the forecast for tonight, another system pulls northward here. And warm front associated with that keeps it wet from the North Gulf Coast. And the trough here keeps showers and periods of rain going over northern Cook Inlet, Manuscus, the Sitna Valley, mixing with snow here at the higher elevations. And the farther north and northeast you go, all the way up there toward Eagle and along the Yukon River area. And this trough here bringing increasing chances of light rain to the central and south coast of the Panhandle. Otherwise, up along the Arctic coast and North Slope, including the Berks Range, some areas of light snow and snow showers there. Mixture of precipitation, light precipitation, in the form of showers for the Seward Peninsula into the Kobuk Valley, Selawik, and those areas. Otherwise, this deepening system out here tonight, you can see a couple of low centers out there. They're going to merge and develop into quite a strong storm system just south of Atka Island by tomorrow afternoon. And gale force winds at least here. Could be some minor band of minimum storm force winds here in advance of the front, kind of circulating around the center there. But definitely gale force winds and rain spreading back into the Alaska Peninsula. And pretty strong north winds on the back side of that with a low center just south of the Aleutians. That should support winds gusting 50 to 60 miles an hour for Adak and Atka, but really lightening out farther to the west there. And then this low tonight tracks right on up to near or just west of Yakutat, makes its way in toward Burwash by tomorrow afternoon there. Good southwest winds, rain heavy at times, gusts 50 to 60 miles an hour there with gale warnings for the coast, and lighter wind and rain down to the south. Otherwise, scattered showers in the form of rain or snow over the interior areas. And then this storm on Wednesday tracks eastward here. Quite an area of precipitation associated with it. The front pushing out here, bringing good gale force winds into the North Gulf Coast. Definitely small craft advisories for Prince William Sound with gale warnings in across the Barren Islands, Kamishak Bay. Small craft advisories for at least southern Cook Inlet. Wind and rain on the increase for the north coast of the Panhandle. It should stay dry over the inside waters and down to the south Prince of Wales Island area. And mostly dry here over the interior. Cloudy skies for the Copper River Basin. Rain pushing up into Cook Inlet and especially along the eastern slopes of the western Alaska Range. But farther up the valley, the Susitna Valley, should be dry with some clearing along the Tanana Valley there that increases here as you head out toward the Arctic coast. Weak trough here near Point Hope and Cape Lisburne there over the Chukchi Sea brings a chance of light snow from Point Lay down to maybe Kivalina. Otherwise, milder air keeps the precipitation in the form of rain here, especially at sea level for the Yukon Delta coast. Gusty north winds for the Pribilof Islands with rain, and that sweeps right on down into the eastern Aleutians and western Alaska Peninsula with showers for Adak and Atka. And just coming onto the chart there, warm front with the next system that slides mostly to the south here, not as strong as the previous one, and a little bit farther to the south, but still close enough to bring some light rain into Adak and Atka. Low center, kind of a one develops here. Back in this trough, that develops into a low center as this one pulls eastward and northeastward to just south of Montague Island by Thursday afternoon, while this low center tracks in over northern Bristol Bay. So that's going to keep it windy and wet for the southwest coast, especially the Kuskokwim Delta coast down into the Alaska Peninsula. Of course, Bristol Bay, good shot of rain for King Salmon, Igigik, and those areas on up into Iliamna Lake. And some isolated rain or snow showers over the central interior areas, otherwise pretty dry to the west here, and as well as the north slope to the Arctic coast. And then for the southeast coast, you can see this front pushes inland during the day, Thursday for rain, a solid day of rain here for the southeast coast, kind of back into a wet weather pattern again, obviously, with good amounts of rain back up toward Yakutat and in toward Prince William Sound. And then for the outlook on Friday, yet another trough, southwest flow keeps it wet for the southeast coast. Again, lighter amounts down toward the Queen Charlotte Islands, heavier amounts up along the north coast, along with a little gustier winds. Lighter winds, but still wet and unsettled for the North Gulf Coast, as well as Bristol Bay. Series of troughs here dropping southeastward here. The colder air up here, just coming out of the Russian coastline there. So snow in that area, mixture of precipitation for the southwest coast, Nunivak Island, mostly rain, especially at sea level there for Bristol Bay into the Aleutian Range and up into the Kuskokwim Valley a little bit. Another trough kicking off some light snow showers or flurries there over the northeast interior to the eastern Brooks Range locations. Otherwise, kind of quieting down here out over the Bering Sea, lighter winds with just some widely scattered shower activity. And for the lows tonight, 20s over the northern part of the state, 30s in the central interior, and mostly in the 30s and lower 40s here for the southern Alaska areas, mostly in the mid-40s for the Aleutians, and in the 40s for the southeast coast. Highs for tomorrow, mid to upper 50s there, warmest around Craig and Klawock, Prince of Wales Island, lower 50s up toward Juneau to Skagway, lower 50s Kodiak Island, 40s and lower 50s here across southern Alaska, mostly in the 40s in the interior. And 30s from the Brooks Range, or actually the northern valleys here, Fort Yukon, Bettles, Kobuk, and Ambler, on out to the Arctic coast with 40s out west. And then for the lows on Wednesday morning, Arctic Village down to 14, otherwise 20s and lower 30s from the northern valleys here out to the Arctic coast, with lows mostly in the 30s to near 40 across the south, definitely in the 30s for the Copper River Basin, 40s for the Panhandle. Highs back into the 50s, warmest down over the southern areas of the southeast coast. Upper 40s and lower 50s here, south central Alaska, mostly in the 40s west of the Alaska Range out toward the coast, and in the 30s for the Arctic coast and North Slope.